Hi everybody, it's Carol with Refunction Crafts. I am here today to bring you a quick tutorial on how to make a stick pin. And in this particular case, we're going to make a really cute stick pin that is in the form of a perfume atomizer. I learned this trick from a lady that has a YouTube channel. She goes by the name of Crafty, and she does a lot of different types of unique beading compositions to make perfume bottles and little love potion bottles and little poison bottles, hummingbird feeders. She does all kinds of really cute bead projects. And so I watched one of her videos that she did on perfume bottles. And so I took that, and honestly, I've been using it to create these little charms that look like perfume bottles, and they're super duper cute. And I thought, you know what? Why not make these stick pins and turn them into perfume bottles and make them very feminine and unique. And so first of all, I'd like to thank Crafty for her videos. I've enjoyed every single one of them on beading projects. She has lots of other videos that she does on other types of things, but the beading ones are the ones that I've mostly watched. I will provide you with a link to her channel down below in the drop-down menu. So that you can find her channel and have a look at some of her videos. I strongly recommend that you check her channel out. And then the other thing I would like to do before I get started is I would like to thank my very good friend Judy, because were it not for Judy, I wouldn't even be making these. She sent me the most wonderful Happy Mail package, and in that package she included these amongst a bunch of other things, all of these beautiful glass beads that are just amazing and sparkly, and I can make so many wonderful things out of these, but they're particularly nice for these stick pins because they're larger crystal beads, and I can do, different kinds of projects with them. And then she also sent me this bag of clear glass beads. So Judy, I am forever indebted to you. The other thing that Judy sent me, she sent me a whole bunch of bead caps, beautiful bead caps, and other beads, and she sent me just a whole bunch of wonderful stuff. So Judy, thanks. I appreciate it. You're a great friend, and I don't know what I'd do without you. She also sent me these stick pins, and these are, I've got 2.5-inch stick pins, and then I have the 6-inch stick pins in both gold and silver. So I immediately got started making these, and I think I am officially addicted to making stick pins. So the first one that I'm going to do for you is a 2.5-inch stick pin, and this particular one, it comes like this, and it has this little bucket shape at the top of the stick pin, and that bucket is made so that you can put a bead, or you could take a pearl. Let me pull a pearl out of this little box here. You could take a pearl and put it in the top and make it really pretty. My suggestion would be to use a pearl that doesn't have holes in it. The undrilled pearls that you can get, but they work really well for these, to add that little extra bling. Or you could take a crystal bead and add it to the top. That's one that I've actually kind of messed up at some point. Or maybe like, something in another color, a blue bead or what have you. Anyway, these are made so that you can put something in the top. So what I did with this one is I chose to use one of these gorgeous bead caps that Judy sent me. And I placed it, I actually glued it into this part of the cone. I took it and put it in like this and glued it with E6000, my go-to glue, because once you adhere something with E6000, once it dries and cures, it's not going to come out. So that's what I used to glue that piece into the top. And then I took, the reason I'm not doing this in front of the camera is I used my last little white rose, acrylic rose. This is from some beads that I got from Michael's, but this is a acrylic rose that, I hope you can see that. I hope it's focusing. Anyway, looks really, really pretty, especially with that other bead cap piece in the top. So the first one that we're going to make is this one. And so we're going to get started now. The first bead I'm going to put in is a round faceted bead, and it's a glass bead, probably about a 10 millimeter. Oops, I'm sorry if I'm getting off camera. This is about a 10 millimeter round faceted bead. And then the next item that I'm going to put on there is one that I actually made. It's just a little dangle bead, one bead on a head pin that I made. And real quick here, I'm going to show you how I made that one by making another one. The ones that I've got for these are already pre-made, but I'm going to show you how I did that. I just take a small head pin, and this is just a straight, let's see, straight head pin. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Right there. Okay, there we go. That's just a very small, probably 1-inch head pin. And I'm going to take this little round bead and my round pliers, and I'm going to bend that over at the top, and then I'm going to snip it at about a 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to take my round pliers and I'm just going to, oopsie, sorry about that. I'm just going to loop it around like this until it meets, goodness, these are some strong head pins, until it meets the other side. And there you have it, a little dangle bead. Can't tell you how many of these I've made, so I was using ones that were already made for these. Okay, so going back to this, we have our dangle bead on there, and that's what it looks like so far. Doesn't look like much until we get to the next couple of steps. The next bead I'm going to use is this rhinestone spacer bead that, is about I'm going to say this is about a 12 millimeter space bead. I'm going to put that next. That's going to be the neck of our bottle. And then I've got this beautiful purple, it looks almost blue on the camera, but it's a purple faceted round bead. And this is probably an 18 millimeter bead. And I'm going to use that as the bottle. So there's where we are so far. So pretty. It's going to be gorgeous when it's done, you guys. And then the next bead that I'm going to use is another spacer bead with the rhinestones. It's going to go directly under the bottle. And then I have this cone-shaped, this is a cone-shaped bead cap that I'm going to use for the bottom piece of the bottle, and this adds a decorative piece to the bottom of the bottle, so it looks like, you know, it's just a really decorative, sorry, that was my phone, really decorative little thing that you add to that. Okay, and then the next bead that we're going to put on there is a round faceted crystal bead, clear. And then I'm going to put a tiny 4mm pearl at the bottom. So this is what our finished piece is going to look like. Let's see. Super duper pretty and decorative, and as you can see, it absolutely looks like a perfume bottle. Hopefully you guys are getting that in focus. Just really pretty. Anyways, then I'm going to take and I'm going to put my stopper at the end. Put that in there so that these beads don't fall off. And right now, our beads are just kind of wonky on there. So what we're going to do to prevent slippage on these beads is I'm going to squeeze out some E6000 here. Make sure I have enough. You're not going to need a lot of this E6000, but this is, again, this is my go-to glue. And I'm going to take a little dot of that E6000, just a very small amount. And the first place I'm going to dab some on is going to be under this bottle bead. And actually, I probably could have used a little bit more of the E6000 under that bead because it's got a bigger hole to fill to get that stuck. And then I'm going to push that bead up and get it nice and tight to the top of this piece. The next place I'm going to do this at, I'm going to push those up, is at this bottom bead. I'm going to take a little bit more of the E6000. I'm going to place it under this crystal bead here. Oops, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to place the glue right there, just a little dab. And then I'm going to take this bottom pearl and I'm going to push it up. And there you have it. You are done. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside and let this one have some dry time. Make sure you check it. This will be dry enough that it won't slip around easily in about, say, 15 minutes time. But just make sure you check it and make sure that none of those beads have slipped. The next one that we're going to do is going to be on, whoopsie, moved all my beads out of place. This is going to be on a 6-inch stick pin. And again, all of my stick pins have the stoppers that go in the bottom. The purpose for that is that these are pointy and they will stick you. So these protect whoever is using them on a scarf or a hat or whatever you might be using them for. You put this on after you get it stuck through your item, and then you're not going to poke yourself at some later time. Okay, so again, with this one, we're gonna start with this teeny tiny little crystal bead that's gonna go at the very top. And I'm going to say this is about a 6mm bead. And hopefully, here we go. I found the hole. That's going to go on first. And boy, that's hard to see. Okay, and then the next bead that we're going to use is this round faceted glass bead. That's going to be, it's actually not round, I take that back. It's an oval shaped glass bead, faceted, and that's going to go on next. So this is what we have so far. The next bead that we're going to use, again, is our dangle bead that we made to put as a, what you call the little atomizer pump. So that's that piece. Next, we're going to use one of these rhinestone bead spacers. And that's going to be the neck of the bottle. And then we have this gorgeous glass faceted rectangle bead that I'm going to put on next. And this is going to be your perfume bottle. And if you guys can see this, it's almost like an amber color, but it's a very light colored bead. We're going to put that one on next. And so this is where we are so far. It already looks like a perfume bottle. So that's where we're at now. The next thing we're going to do, because I want to dress this one up a little bit, is I'm going to use one of these bead caps. Really pretty bead cap that I got from my friend Judy. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and I'm going to squeeze it with my pliers so that it looks a bit like this, kind of more flattened out a little bit. So what I would do is I would take my pliers and take this bead, and I'm just going to squeeze it until I get it to this shape that I want to use over the top of this bottle, and it gives the bottle a decorative effect. It makes it look more fancy. So there's your fancy bottle. Super duper pretty. And we're going to fancy it up some more by adding another one of these rhinestone spacer beads. This is about I'm going to say about a 12 millimeter. And again, one of my cone-shaped bead caps. And then I'm going to add this round faceted. This is actually an acrylic bead. I didn't have one quite like that that I wanted to use in this piece, so I used an acrylic bead down there. And then here's another glass round faceted bead. And forgive me, folks, I don't know all of the terms and the names of all the beads that I use, so I'm going to have to learn all of that if I'm going to keep doing YouTube videos. This is about a 8 millimeter pearl, and then I'm using I'm going to say that's about a 6 millimeter pearl. And then this one is a 4 millimeter pearl that I'm going to add to the bottom. And this is what we have. Super duper pretty and fun to make. So next I'm going to take and put my stopper at the bottom of this. And I really don't want to use glue underneath this big bead because I'm just afraid that if I do, it's going to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and squeeze some more E6000 out here. And I'm going to use a little bit of glue underneath the top bead that's at the very top, or not the very top one, the second one down, because we used that little bead to kind of add some decorative feature to the top, the stopper. We're going to push that up there, and we're going to go ahead and push these beads up along with the decorative piece under the perfume bottle. And then I'm going to also push these next two beads up. And the next one that I'm going to put glue under is this other big bead that we have coming after the bottle portion of the perfume bottle. I'm just putting a little bit there, and I'm going to push that bead up over that glue. And then next, I'm going to push that bead up and that pearl. And the next one that's going to get glue is this tiny little pearl here. So I didn't quite squeeze enough of my E6000 glue out here, so I'm going to squeeze a little bit more. And whoopsie, wrong tool. Okay, and we're going to put a tiny amount of glue, E6000 glue, right there. Got it on the stick down here. Okay. So we're ready to slide that pearl up there, and there we have it. We have our second completed stick pin. Super duper pretty, and I will provide you all with pictures at the end of this video. They may go at the front, they may go at the end. I'm still learning how to add all of that stuff to my videos. And we're going to make one more Last but not least, and I'm going to go through this one a little bit more quickly since we've already done two. Here we have our rhinestone bead, and this one is an iridescent. It's got kind of greenish colors in it. And then we have our our round dangle bead that we're going to put here. What really looks pretty as the atomizer pump is if you've got teardrop shaped beads. They really do have a nice effect as an atomizer piece. And here's our rhinestone spacer. And then we have this beautiful faceted glass bead that's probably, I'm going to say it's an 18 or 20 millimeter bead that is actually flat on the top and bottom, and then has that rounded outside with all those gorgeous facets in it. So that's what we have so far. It looks really gorgeous. And then I'm going to add, I have this pretty bead cap that I'm going to use on this one. I only have one of these bead caps, and it's so pretty. And it works well with this piece because the bead has a flat side to it. So we're going to put that at the bottom. And then we have another rhinestone spacer. And then we have our coned bead cap that we're going to put on next as the bottom of our bottle. And then we're going to add our other beads. Here we have a faceted round glass bead, clear, and another clear, smaller bead. And then I have an even smaller glass crystal bead that I'm going to put on next. And then we have our tiny 4 millimeter pearl that's going to go on last. So that is this stick pin in a nutshell. I'm going to put my stopper at the bottom. And I'm going to add my glue in places where I think it will most benefit this piece and keep everything in place. So the first place I am going to put it is at the top of this stick pin here for the top bead. And we're going to put that bead up there. Get any excess glue off the top. And then I'm going to slide these beads all up here. The next bead I'm going to put glue under is this large glass crystal bead. And I'm going to put a decent amount under that one because it is a bigger bead, and I want to make sure that that glue actually hits the inside of that bead. So we're going to slide that one up there. And then we're going to slide the other two crystal beads up underneath that one. And the next place we're going to put glue on is at this last little pearl. So I'm going to put the glue right here. Don't want to get too much on there, but I'm not, feels like I'm not getting anything on there. Okay. I think my E6000 is drying out there a little bit. Okay, it's still sticky enough that that bead's going to come up over there. It's not completely dry. And there we have it. Our third completed stick pin. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. And also in the description menu, I'm going to put some links. I'll put a link to Crafty's YouTube channel, and so that you can check out her channel. I'll put a link to my Etsy shop where you will soon find these pieces. And I hope you've all enjoyed this video. And again, thanks to Crafty for her inspiration, and thanks to Judy for the wonderful, wonderful gifts that she gave me so that I could do this tutorial and have some fun making these pieces. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.